Hear me now, not later, not when the noise settles, not when you finally feel calm enough to listen. Hear me now while something inside you still feels unsettled, while your heart is still restless enough to recognize that these words are not random, while this moment is still open. I did not reach you by accident, and this is not just another message to pass through your mind and disappear. Something in you already knows that quiet tightening in your chest, that subtle pause in your scrolling, that feeling of why does this feel personal? That is not coincidence. That is awareness awakening. I am speaking to you before this day ends because some moments carry a clarity that does not wait politely. Some truths do not knock softly. They arrive with urgency because delay would cost too much. You have delayed before. You have told yourself later more times than you can count. Later when life slows down. Later when you have more strength. Later when you feel ready. But later kept moving. And so did the days. I am not here to accuse you of that. I understand why you did it. Avoidance felt safer than facing what you didn't know how to carry. But safety is not the same as life. And comfort is not the same as peace. You feel that now, don't you? You keep moving, yet something feels unfinished. You stay busy, yet something feels empty. You rest, yet you do not feel restored. That is not weakness. That is your soul asking not to be ignored anymore. Hear me carefully. This urgency you feel is not panic. It is not fear. It is not pressure meant to trap you. It is love refusing to stay silent while there is still time to respond. I am not rushing you because I am impatient. I am reaching for you because moments like this do not stay open forever. There are times when the heart is soft enough to hear clearly, and times when the same truth becomes dull and distant. You are standing in one of those moments right now. That is why these words feel heavier than usual. That is why they linger instead of fading. That is why something inside you is saying, pay attention. You have learned how to quiet that voice. With noise, with distraction, with constant movement. You tell yourself you are being productive. You tell yourself you are being practical. But deep down, you know you are avoiding stillness because stillness asks questions. Questions you were afraid to answer. Is this really how I want to live? Why do I feel so tired even when I am resting? What am I afraid will happen if I slow down and actually listen? Those questions did not disappear when you ignored them. They only learned to whisper instead of shout. And now they are rising again. I am speaking now because if you turn away again, the cost will be greater than you realize. Not because I will punish you, not because I will abandon you, but because regret grows quietly when truth is known and dismissed. Regret does not arrive loudly. It settles into choices. It shapes direction. It dulls hope. It shows up years later as a sense of loss you cannot fully explain. I do not want that for you. You think I am interrupting your day. But what I am interrupting is a pattern. Pattern of delay. A pattern of emotional retreat. A pattern of surviving instead of living. You did not turn away in rebellion. You turned away in exhaustion. You were tired of feeling. Tired of carrying. Tired of hoping and being disappointed. So you learned to stay busy. Busy enough that nothing could catch you. Busy enough that truth had to shout to be heard. I am not angry with you for that. I understand survival. But survival is not where I want you to remain. You were not created to drift from one distraction to another. You were created for connection, for honesty, for a life that feels awake and real. That is why this moment feels intense. Intensity does not mean danger. It means importance. You feel exposed right now because truth is close. Truth always makes the heart feel uncovered before it feels healed. Do not confuse that discomfort with harm. I am not uncovering you to shame you. I am uncovering you so you do not have to hide anymore. Hear me before this day ends because this is a window, not a threat, not a deadline, a window. Windows do not stay open forever. Not because love disappears, but because attention fades. Life gets loud again. Responsibilities pile up. Distractions multiply. And what feels clear tonight becomes easier to explain away tomorrow. Tomorrow will try to convince you that this was just emotion, that it was nothing serious, that you can come back to it later. But tomorrow does not carry the same clarity that today does. That is why I am calling you now. I am not asking you to fix your entire life tonight. I am not asking you to understand everything. I am asking you not to ignore what your heart already knows. You already know where you have been running. You already know what you have been avoiding. You already know what feels unresolved. You do not need new information. You need honesty. Honesty requires stillness, and stillness requires courage. I know stopping feels risky for you, because stopping means feeling, and feeling has hurt before, but avoiding pain has also cost you joy. You have learned how to numb yourself just enough to function, not enough to heal. Numbness feels like peace at first, but it slowly shrinks your life. You stop feeling deeply. You stop hoping freely. You stop recognizing what once moved you. That is not rest. That is exhaustion wearing a mask. I did not create you for a small, manageable life. I created you for truth, and truth requires presence. Hear me now. Stay with this moment. Do not scroll away. Do not minimize it. Do not promise yourself you will return later. Later has already taken too much from you. This moment matters because your heart is still open enough to respond. Not perfectly, not confidently, but honestly. Honesty is enough for now. I am not demanding perfection. I am asking for attention. Attention is the doorway to healing. You are not alone in this moment. I am here with you, not above you, not against you, with you. And before this day closes, something can begin. Not loudly, not dramatically, but deeply. Stay here, because what I am about to show you next will require more than just listening. It will require seeing. And once you see it, you will understand why turning away again would cost more than you are willing to lose. Stay with me. Do not rush past this part. What I am about to say will feel closer than the last words. Not louder, closer. Because urgency wakes you up, but clarity asks you to look. And looking is what you have learned to avoid. Not because you are dishonest. Not because you are rebellious. But because seeing clearly once hurt you, and you decided quietly that it was safer not to look too long again. You learned how to glance without staring, how to acknowledge without engaging, how to sense truth and then immediately distract yourself. You became skilled at that. You call it balance. You call it maturity. You call it being realistic. But underneath those names is a pattern you have never named. Avoidance is not always running away. Sometimes it is standing still while your heart slowly disconnects. You feel it when your days blur together. You feel it when achievements no longer satisfy. You feel it when rest feels shallow and joy feels muted. That is not life passing you by. That is you pulling away from life without realizing it. Hear me. What you have been avoiding is not punishment. It is not judgment. It is not some unbearable demand. What you have been avoiding is honesty. Honesty about where you are. Honesty about what you are afraid of. Honesty about what is no longer working, even if it once did. You keep telling yourself, this is just how life is. You say, everyone feels like this. You say, I should be grateful, not questioning. Gratitude is good. But silence about your soul is not maturity. It is neglect. Your hunger did not disappear just because you learned how to ignore it. Hunger always means need, and need is not a flaw. You have been afraid that if you admit something is missing, everything will fall apart, that you will have to change things you are not ready to change, that you will disappoint people, that you will lose control. So you keep moving. You stay functional, responsible, busy enough that nothing catches up with you. But what you avoid does not vanish. It waits. It waits in your quiet moments. It waits in the pressure behind your thoughts. It waits in the exhaustion that sleep does not fix. I am not exposing this to shame you. I am naming it so it stops controlling you from the shadows. Avoidance has protected you before. It helped you survive seasons that were too heavy. I honor that. But survival habits become cages when they stay too long. You are no longer in the season that required you to shut down. But your heart does not know that yet. It is still operating as if feeling deeply is dangerous. That is why you flinch when truth gets close. That is why intensity makes you want to escape. That is why you feel the urge to numb yourself right now. That urge is familiar, feels safe, but safe is not the same as free. I need you to understand something clearly. What you fear is not truth itself. What you fear is what truth might require. You are afraid that if you listen fully, something will be asked of you that you cannot give. Your time, your control, your certainty, your image. You are afraid of losing what feels stable, even if it quietly drains you. So you choose what is familiar over what is alive. That choice does not make you weak. It makes you human, but it also keeps you stuck. Stuck does not always feel dramatic. It feels like repetition, like cycles that never fully break, like growth that starts and then stalls. You sense that stall, don't you? You tell yourself you are moving forward, but something inside you feels paused. That is because movement without honesty is just motion. Direction requires truth, and truth requires seeing. This is where most people turn away, not because they hate truth, but because truth removes excuses. Once you see clearly, you cannot pretend you didn't know. That responsibility feels heavy. But hear me, responsibility is lighter than regret. Regret comes from knowing and delaying, from sensing and dismissing, from feeling called and choosing comfort instead. You have carried enough regret already. Enough what-ifs. Enough quiet disappointments you never speak aloud. I am not asking you to add more. I am asking you to stop the pattern here. You think turning away will make this feeling go away. It will temporarily. Avoidance always offers immediate relief. That is why it is tempting. But relief fades, and the restlessness returns. Peace does not come from escaping truth. Peace comes from facing it with support. You are not meant to do this alone. I am here with you in this moment, because clarity is safer with presence. You are not opening your eyes into emptiness. You are opening them with me beside you. Look at your life honestly, not harshly, not cruelly. Honestly, look at what drains you but feels familiar. Look at what you cling to because change feels risky. Look at what you keep busy to avoid feeling. Look at the patterns you excuse because confronting them would hurt. Seeing these things does not make you a failure. It makes you awake. Awareness is the beginning of freedom. You have mistaken numbness for peace. You have mistaken distraction for rest. You have mistaken survival for life. And no one told you otherwise because you learned how to look fine. But fine is not whole. You were created for wholeness. Wholeness does not mean everything is perfect. It means nothing has to be hidden. Hidden things drain you. Named things lose power. That is why I am asking you to see. Not everything. Not all at once. Just enough to stop lying to yourself. Say it quietly if you need to. Something is not right. Something needs attention. Something needs honesty. Those words are not failure. They are the doorway. Most people wait for a breakdown before they tell the truth. You do not have to. You can choose awareness before collapse. You can choose clarity before regret. That is why this moment matters. This is not about rules, not about performance, not about proving anything. This is about relationship. Distance grows quietly when attention is withdrawn, not through rebellion, but through neglect. I do not want distance between us. I want you present, honest, here. You do not need answers yet. You do not need a plan. You need to stop running from the questions, because the questions are not your enemy. They are guides, and what they are leading you toward is not loss, but life. Stay with me, because in the next part, I am going to speak about the cost of continuing as you are, not to frighten you, but to show you what is quietly slipping away every time you choose delay. And once you see that, you will understand why this moment could not wait. Stay with me. Do not pull back now. I know something in you wants to, not because you disagree, but because you recognize yourself too clearly in what is being said. That impulse to retreat, to soften this moment, to explain it away, to promise yourself you will come back later. That impulse has a history. It has saved you before. It helped you cope when truth felt overwhelming. It helped you keep going when stopping felt impossible. But today, that same impulse would cost you more than it protects you. Hear me carefully. The greatest losses in your life did not come from dramatic mistakes. They came from small delays, from moments you felt a nudge and ignored it, from questions you postponed answering, from truths you sensed but chose not to face yet. Nothing exploded. Nothing collapsed. Life simply drifted. And drift is dangerous because it feels harmless. You do not notice it happening. You only notice it later, when you look back and wonder how you ended up farther away than you intended. Delay does not announce itself as disobedience. Presents itself as reasonableness. Now isn't the right time. I need to get through this season first. I'll deal with it when things settle down. Those thoughts sound wise. They sound responsible. But seasons stack. Life stays busy. And later keeps moving. The cost of delay is not immediate pain. It is slow dulling. Sensitivity fades first. Things that once stirred your heart start to feel distant. Conviction softens. Urgency weakens. Not because truth changes, but because attention does. You do not wake up one day hardened. You become that way through 1,000 small dismissals. Each time you ignore a moment like this, your heart learns to listen a little less closely. You still function. You still believe. You still move forward. But something inside you grows quieter. That quietness is not peace. It is weariness. You adapt to it. You normalize it. You tell yourself this is just adulthood. But deep down, you know something is missing. You feel it when joy feels shallow. You feel it when worship feels distant. You feel it when purpose feels foggy. That is not because you are failing. It is because you have been delaying honesty for too long. Delay trains the heart to settle, to accept less than what was meant for you, to confuse comfort with calling, to choose familiarity over growth. You did not choose this intentionally. It happened quietly, one skipped moment at a time. I am not bringing this up to condemn you. I am bringing it up to interrupt the pattern. Because patterns do not break themselves. You are standing at a turning point right now, not a dramatic one, a subtle one. And subtle turning points are the most important, because they shape direction without noise. One path continues exactly as you are, busy, functional, distracted enough to cope. The other path asks you to slow down, to face what you have been avoiding, to choose awareness over autopilot. The first path feels easier in the short term. The second feels heavier now, but lighter later. Delay always borrows peace from the future. You feel fine now, but the weight accumulates. And one day you wake up tired, without knowing why. You wonder why passion feels far away, why clarity feels muted, why life feels like something you are managing, instead of something you are living. That is the cost. Not punishment, not loss of love, loss of aliveness. You were not created to live half awake. You were created to feel deeply, to love honestly, to respond when truth calls. Every time you delay, you train your heart to respond a little slower, until one day, the urgency no longer stirs you the way it once did. That is what I mean when I say, moments like this do not return in the same way. Truth does not stop speaking, but hearts change when it is ignored. I am speaking clearly now, because clarity is still possible. You can still feel this. You can still recognize this moment. That is a gift. Do not waste it. You may be thinking, what if I choose wrong? What if I cannot follow through? What if I fail again? Hear me. Failure is not what costs you the most. Avoidance does. Trying and stumbling keeps the heart soft. Delaying hardens it. I am not asking you for perfection. I am asking you for response. Response keeps the relationship alive. You have been afraid that responding will demand too much of you, that it will disrupt your routines, that it will require change you cannot control. Yes, it will disrupt some things, but what it gives you in return is worth far more than what it costs. It gives you clarity instead of confusion, peace instead of numbness, direction instead of endless motion. You have been living with a quiet ache. you could never fully explain. That ache is not dissatisfaction with life. It is hunger for meaning. Meaning does not come from staying busy. It comes from alignment. And alignment requires courage. Courage is not loud. It does not always feel strong. Sometimes courage is simply staying present. When everything in you wants to escape, that is what you are doing right now. Do not stop. You are closer than you think. Closer to honesty. Closer to healing. Closer to the life you have been longing for, but afraid to name. This is not the moment to rush. This is the moment to choose. Not emotionally. Not impulsively. Intentionally. Choose to stay awake. Choose to listen. Choose to respond instead of delay. Because what you do with this moment will shape how clearly you hear the next one. And there is more to be said. In the next part, I will speak to you about what responding actually looks like. Not as pressure, not as performance, but as a simple, honest turning of the heart. And once you hear that, the fear you are carrying right now will finally loosen its grip.